The multiverse just expanded. MissedThePart Productions is now on Ko-fi, our new hub where you can help build universes. Pay what you want for custom what-if stories, fund new series, collect signed storylines, and unlock exclusive rewards. Every coffee fuels the multiverse. The city didn't scream anymore, it whispered. Jump City, once vibrant with the sounds of late-night hover cars and rooftop skateboarders, had gone quiet after dark. Curfews were unofficial but followed. People spoke low, locked their windows. A haunting stillness had settled across neighborhoods like a second moon had risen. Invisible but cold, looming, inescapable. They came in the morning, the bodies, peaceful, as if they died dreaming. No signs of trauma, no puncture wounds, no gas leaks, no digital viruses, just people, teenagers, students, a few heroes even, found slumped over books, curled in beds, mid-step in their kitchens, gone, frozen in horror behind their eyelids. By the fourth night, it wasn't a coincidence anymore. Inside Titan's tower, the command table glowed cold blue, casting flickering shadows on 5 tired faces. Velvety darkness pressed against the windows behind them, water lapping gently against the base of the tower. The city skyline a distant silhouette, but inside, tension bled into every breath. Even Beast Boy wasn't cracking jokes, not really. This is the 3rd group of victims in 2 days, Cyborg said, hands clenched on the edge of the console. His synthetic eye flickered. All teenagers, all in their sleep, no connection to one another, no signs of metahuman activity, no poison, no electrical surges, just nightmares. They didn't just die, Raven added, her voice low, her hood up. They were taken, their spirits, not just their lives. Robin sat still, his back rigid, eyes narrowed behind the white slits of his mask. His mind had already mapped the pattern. He hated how it felt. Too clean, too cruel. It wasn't just death, it was fear, sculpted, orchestrated. What kind of freak kills people in their dreams? Beast Boy finally whispered. The sentence a tremor. That's not even fair. Exactly, Robin said. He doesn't play fair. He tapped a button. The screen behind him lit up with a pixelated, grainy photo. A distorted face caught in a convenience store security cam. It was smeared with motion blur, but the outline was unmistakable. A fedora, melted skin, and those claws, curved like razors made of hate. I've seen this before, Robin muttered. A case file from Gotham, one Batman buried. Cyborg frowned. Wait, Gotham? Why would... He's not from this world. Or maybe not from any world, Raven said, almost as if reciting from some internal library of shadows. Her voice was flatter now, resigned. His name is Freddy Krueger. He was once a man, a killer of children, burned alive by justice, and reborn through vengeance. Now he exists where we're weakest, where the mind folds in on itself, where no one can help you. The dreamscape, Robin said. Our dreams. Scooby's ears twitched at the edge of the audio logs. Beast Boy was already inching toward the couch, nervously fidgeting with his communicator. Cool, yeah. So, maybe we all just don't sleep ever again? It's not that simple, Raven said. I felt him last night, not fully, just a ripple. But it was enough. He's testing the waters. She looked at Robin then, her eyes glowing faintly beneath the hood. I think he's looking for me. Silence fell. Robin stood slowly, his cape falling around his boots like a judge's robe. Then we find him first. But no one answered, because something unspeakable passed through the tower just then. A flicker in the lights. A sound like blades scraping across bone. From the dark corner of the hallway beyond the war room, a soft laugh echoed. Distant but far too close. And just like that, Freddy Krueger knew their names, one by one. And somewhere, in a house not far from the shore, a child's nightlight flickered, then died. Welcome to the nightmare. The next night came faster than expected, not because the day passed quickly, but because none of them trusted what might happen once they closed their eyes. Cyborg had rigged the tower's systems to monitor REM cycles, brainwaves, and external anomalies. Still, every Titan was tense. Sleep wasn't safe. Even meditation wasn't guaranteed. And the worst part? No enemy to punch, no shadow to chase. Just a name, a myth, a hiss in the dark. Freddy Krueger. Robin stood alone on the rooftop just before midnight, the city lights casting his silhouette in sharp, restless angles. His gloved fingers curled at his sides. He hated feeling powerless. This wasn't a fight he could plan for. He didn't even know if Freddy could be tracked by tech, or if he existed only when believed in. Robin, Raven's voice was like smoke drifting in. She stood just behind him, her hood pulled low. "You need to rest." "I don't sleep," he said too quickly. "That's not strength," she replied. "That's fear in disguise." Robin turned slightly, studying her. The way her aura pulsed low and cold tonight, like she was trying not to disturb the air around her. Raven had been unusually quiet, even for her. "You've seen him," Robin said. "Not in a file, not secondhand. Really seen him." She nodded. "He's building power. Every fear he touches, every death in the dreamscape, makes him more real. If we wait, if we hide, he'll get stronger. Then none of us wake up." Robin was quiet for a moment. "So how do we fight something in a place where we're weakest?" Raven's voice dropped. "By going in." Elsewhere in the tower, Beast Boy paced the common room, shifting through animal forms compulsively. Cat, dog, sparrow, chimp. Like he couldn't sit still in his own skin. Cyborg leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching a grid of dream monitors light up. They'd all taken sedatives Raven brewed from old Tamaranian herbs and combined with Cyborg's neurotech. The plan was to enter a shared dream together, forcing a confrontation, before Freddy could pick them off one by one. "You sure this is going to work?" Beast Boy asked, his eyes wide and tired. "Nope," Cyborg said, "but I'd rather fight that knife-fingered freak in our heads than let him sneak up while we're napping." "Do I get to turn into a dragon in dreams? If we don't die first. Yeah, maybe." The lights dimmed. A pulse ran through the tower, the sedative taking effect. One by one, the Titans sank to the floor, couches, chairs. Their bodies slowed, breathing evened out, and their minds drifted past the veil. And then everything changed. The dreamscape, the sky was blood red. Black clouds dragged across it like burnt feathers. The Titans stood on the streets of Jump City, but it was ruined, twisted, impossible. Buildings melted upward like smoke. Street signs bled ink. The moon had Freddy's grin. Beast Boy looked down, his hands were claws. Cyborg's metal arms sparked uncontrollably. Robin felt his mask blink, then vanish. They were raw here, stripped, vulnerable. Freddy's voice slithered across the dreamscape like oil on glass. "Let's play a little game, kiddies." One by one, the building split open like broken bones. Hands reached out. Not Freddy's. Worse. Echoes of their own fears. Robin saw Slade in the shadows. Beast Boy heard Tara screaming. Cyborg saw himself shutting down piece by piece. Raven saw herself. But with her father's eyes, they were all being fractured. This was Freddy's world, and he was the god of it. Suddenly, metal scraped against stone. The sound was unmistakable. Freddy stepped into view, his hat tipped low, claws gleaming, burned face twisted in a sneer. Welcome to my world, brats. Robin stepped forward, jaw tight. You've made a mistake. Freddy licked his teeth. No, pretty boy. You did, the second you closed your eyes. The nightmare tore itself open like a wound, and Freddy stepped through it, laughing. The Titans stood on a broken street of what used to be Jump City, but everything was wrong here, surreal and melting at the edges, like a child's drawing set on fire. The air was thick but breathable, the kind of place where your skin remembered childhood trauma and your lungs whispered lies you used to believe. Freddy took a slow step forward, each clawed finger dragging down the twisted light pole beside him, screeching a sound so sharp even Cyborg flinched. I've played with children before, Freddy said, tilting his head. But you're special. You wear your trauma on your sleeves. You sleep with it. You live inside it. Beast Boy stepped back, voice trembling. Guys, this isn't like last time. This isn't a villain we punch. But Robin didn't wait. He charged forward, bow staff in hand, swinging with trained fury. A clean, fluid motion. The staff connected with Freddy's head and passed right through him like smoke. Freddy shimmered, then split, forming 3 versions of himself around Robin. You're not in your world anymore, Junior. Robin swung wildly, striking only air. Freddy's glove lashed out once, metal talons cutting across Robin's cheek in a flash of red. Blood sprayed across the street. Not fatal, not yet, but it was real, and that changed everything. Elsewhere in the dream, Raven stood in a fractured cathedral of her own making, the stained glass windows depicting every failure she feared. Her mother crumbling to ash, her teammates falling into shadows, her own eyes glowing red, speaking in her father's voice. The cathedral's pews were filled with versions of herself, all whispering at once, useless, doomed, cursed. She gritted her teeth, drawing her cloak tighter. Azarath, Metrion. A long shadow fell across the stained floor. Freddy. But not just Freddy. He was wearing a version of her father's robes, his burned skin shifting between Freddy's grin and Triggan's horns. Poor little empath, he crooned. Daddy issues? Join the club. Raven's breath hitched. Her aura flared. Freddy smiled wider, stepping into the flame. Meanwhile, Cyborg and Beast Boy were running through corridors of warped memories. The tower rebuilt and distorted, walls made of old locker rooms, childhood homes, parts of them they thought they'd forgotten. Beast Boy tripped, landing face to face with a dead Terra, her eyes hollow, her mouth whispering, "You let me go." Cyborg yanked him to his feet. Don't listen to her. It's not real. But when he turned, Freddy was already waiting at the other end of the hall, leaning against the wall, tapping a claw against a pipe. He's immune, you know, Freddy said, pointing at Cyborg. Machine Boy can't dream like the rest of you. But that just makes you the snack I save for last. And then Freddy lunged. Back in the city, Robin tried to regroup with the team, blood trickling from his temple, sweat running into his eyes. Where's Raven? He called into the twisted streets. But only wind answered. Then came a scream. Beast Boy. Robin ran toward it, only to find Beast Boy convulsing in the middle of the street, surrounded by flickers of shifting animals. Wolf, rat, bird, all of them writhing like they were being torn apart from the inside. Freddy stood over him. Robin froze. Freddy raised his glove. You all dream of being heroes, and plunged it downward. Robin tackled Freddy. Too late. Beast Boy let out one last gasping cry and went limp. He didn't vanish. He didn't fade. He just stopped. Robin screamed his name, shook him. No pulse. No spark. A moment passed. Freddy laughed. One down. Elsewhere in that dream church of shadows and pain, Raven felt something break. She screamed. But it wasn't a cry of fear. It was rage. The stained glass shattered inward. The voices of her inner demons fell silent. The air warped. Raven floated off the ground, eyes glowing white, cloak whipping in the windless cathedral, her hands crackling with black magic. She turned to Freddy. "You've made a mistake." Freddy only grinned. "Now it's getting fun." The sky was bleeding. Raven hovered above the broken landscape of Jump City's dream version, arms outstretched, cloaks snapping violently around her like wings of shadow. Her eyes were lit white with fury, her aura burning black-purple fire that cracked the earth with every breath she took. Beneath her, Freddy twisted and shimmered between forms, sometimes his charred, jagged self, other times cloaked in the twisted crown and demonic visage of Trigon. His laughter echoed across the ruins, taunting her with every echo. "You think anger makes you strong?" Freddy jeered, claws spread. "You think loss makes you powerful? Good. Feed it. Burn. That's how I win." Raven's voice trembled with raw fury. "You killed them." "Not all. Robin's still alive. For now. But Beast Boy, that scream. You felt it, didn't you? That was his soul breaking." Freddy flicked one claw across the air and tore reality open, revealing a vision of Robin, unconscious and bound in a twisted version of his own room, nailed shut by his failures, surrounded by ghostly echoes of Slade, Batman, and bloodied versions of the Titans. "He's dreaming of never being enough. That's my favorite flavor." Raven screamed. Her magic lashed out like a whip of black flame, crashing into Freddy with enough force to shatter buildings. He flew backward through a collapsing tower of nightmare geometry and landed hard on the broken street. But he didn't stay down. He crawled up laughing, flesh melting and repairing itself, the stripes on his sweater shifting into veins of glowing red energy. His glove grew longer, sharper. "You don't kill nightmares, little witch," Freddy snarled. "You feed them." He lunged. Raven met him midair, her fists wrapped in pure energy, her voice chanting spells from a language older than sin. Freddy slashed across her shoulder. She struck back with a scream that cracked the ground, throwing him into the remnants of a broken clock tower. Meanwhile, in the dreamscape's heart, Cyborg was still fighting. Not Freddy, but the world itself. The dream hated him, couldn't infect him, couldn't trick him, so it tried to crush him. The landscape warped and folded, hurling steel beams and ghost titans at him, but Cyborg marched forward, refusing to fall. He had Robin slung across his back now, unconscious but alive. "Come on, man, wake up, we ain't done yet." He kicked through the final barrier, an iron door shaped like his own face, and emerged into the core. There, the center of the dream world burned, a massive mirror suspended over blackness. Inside it, Freddy battled Raven in endless reflections, twisting, reforming, spreading. Cyborg raised his cannon arm. Time to unplug this nightmare. He charged it up and fired. A sonic pulse of frequency-shattering sound, keyed to the neural oscillator he'd secretly built after Slade once invaded their dreams. The mirror cracked. Freddy screamed. Back at the battlefield, Raven paused, feeling the dream shifting. Freddy recoiled, smoking, his skin cracking like dried paint. "No," he roared. "You can't wake up. I'm still hungry." Raven floated closer, her voice calm, low, dangerous. "You were never part of this world, Freddy. You invaded, and you lost." She raised both hands. The symbols on her skin began to glow. Her magic reached into the cracks Cyborg had made, through Freddy's own reflection, and she began to pull. Not just him, but the entire dream. Reality screamed. Freddy lunged once more, claws bared, mouth wide, and Raven met him with a single whispered word. Enough. The explosion of light wasn't loud. It was silent, terrifyingly quiet, like the hush before a funeral. Raven awoke alone. The tower was silent, half cracked from the battle that had mirrored the dream. The sky outside was gray. Robin lay in the medbay, still breathing, scarred but whole. Cyborg sat beside him, silent, half burned. He looked up at her and gave a faint smile. "You brought us back." Raven didn't smile. Her eyes were sunken. She sat beside Beast Boy's empty bed. His communicator rested there, still blinking, still waiting. Freddy was gone, but not destroyed. Nightmares never die. They just wait. Raven looked out the window. "If he ever comes back, I'll be ready." Behind her, the shadows flickered just slightly, as if someone else had heard. A flickering CRT screen, static, a camera feed, an old boiler room. On the floor, claw marks. A voice from off-screen, low, familiar. "That wasn't my Freddy." The screen goes black. Then a whisper. "Multiverse breach logged." The multiverse just opened a new gateway. MissedThePart Productions is now on Ko-fi, our official hub where you help fund and shape new universes. Pay what you want. Commission custom what-ifs. Support the production fund. Join the creative circle. Support expand the multiverse.